Hey everybody, guess where I am? Guess I'm doing my favorite thing here today. Let's see. Ooh, I just got one skip. It's an awkward angle, but love skipping those stones. I actually had a 5 skipper that I had on film, and then the video stopped after 8 minutes. I think I had to go delete previous videos to make room for it. Anyway, welcome to the midweek chat. This is Chippewa River, Southwest. It's called the Southwest City Park is where I am in Eau Claire. Shawtown, it's right next to the wastewater treatment plant. And I thought it was a nice spot. I was looking for a place sheltered from the western wind. We had a change in weather overnight, and so it's a windy day. Hot and humid last night, and today mid 60s. Tomorrow, I think the high of low 60s as we move into fall. I think it's the first day of fall today, right? September 21st, so I guess it's about time. Looking forward to those changing colors of our trees. Eau Claire, beautiful. So, got a bunch of parish news. Today's the Feast of St. Matthew, so I want to talk just a little bit about his gospel account. What do I got? Let me just kind of rattle off some parish news here. So, Trek men's bicycle. Someone called, they got a men's bicycle, a Trek. I don't know if it's a road bike or a city bike. I should have got more details, but someone contacted Christine and said, you know anyone I could donate this to at St. James? I'm spoiled, I have bikes that I like, and so I'm not in need of one, but I bet you someone maybe could use one. Don't be shy. People love to give. They'd be happy to let someone have it from St. James. We have Parish bike ride. Speaking of bike rides, the next one will be October 9th, Sunday at noon. The one we scheduled for October 2nd got to cancel because we have great doings that weekend on October 1st and 2nd. It's kind of the handing of the torch for our pastoral minister, Jackie Miller, who's been here 14 years and been in parish ministry 44 years, something like that. Just really, Father Schultz, previous pastor at St. James, always just said, she's a gem, and really good. And we'll miss her on staff. Happily, she'll still be with us at St. James and involved, so that'll be a great thing that's true. But we'll have receptions for her. You can kind of stop by and say thanks, good luck, see you soon. We'll have kind of an open mic after the 10 o'clock Mass, after people eat a little bit, maybe around 12:15 or so, or noon, we'll get the microphone working. So that kind of thing should be nice. Taking her place, we're excited as well to welcome Patrice Taft. Al and Patrice have been members here for years, so she'll be the person now that she joined staff with the most time at St. James. So that'll be good. She brings a wealth of experience and compassion and care, love of church, and so she's been learning the ropes the past couple of weeks, and we look forward to our time with Patrice on our staff. What else we got going on? Let's see. Victor Spickler. So he ran for years. He ran the metal recycling. In fact, that's where Knights of Columbus take when people donate aluminum to St. James, and that container we have behind the office building and that sloping driveway we have there. Which, by the way, we have. If you ever want to donate aluminum, it's behind the office building. It's a big cage about 15 feet high that you kind of toss your bag over. And if you don't have the shoulder strength for that, you can just leave the bag on the side and someone will flip it in. But for years, Jerry Olson and Tom Kempen and various others, I imagine, have helped. They take those cans over to Spickler's and get some money, and they use it for good things. Sometimes St. James, sometimes other charities. Anyway, that's the guy, and he was married, and he has of a certain age, and so he and Rita married last year or 2 years ago at St. James, and he's been coming faithfully with her to church. But he says, by golly, I'd like to be able to receive communion, and I'm happy to become Catholic. So Jackie has been kind of working with them, and rather than make him go through the whole process, because of his background and because of his age, I think we're going to just welcome him on Saturday. It'll be great. So that'll be nice. I'm going after that. I'm going to no, that's the following week. No, it's this week, but that's at the Saturday Mass. So after Sunday Masses this weekend, Father Schultz will be with us, by the way, at the 10 o'clock Mass. Somebody'd like to see him and say hello. He emailed me yesterday, said he'd like to celebrate at the 10 o'clock. By happy coincidence, that's when the Hunsleys are having a baptism. And they go way back and like Father Schultz a lot, and he likes them a lot. And so I think it's maybe it feels like it's just sort of a coincidence, but maybe you heard, and that's why he wants to come. Let's see. Oh, yeah. But then after that, I'm going to zip up to the North Shore of Lake Superior. I like to go there for a couple nights a year and do some hiking, visit Grand Marais, and that'll be good. The only downside is I told my mom I was going, and she's kind of fearful. And so right away she said, are you going with anybody? And I said, no, I'm solo. And she thinks I'm going to be unsafe up there on the hiking trails because of bears. So I've been getting calls, make sure you have your whistle and things like that. She wasn't really like that so much when I was younger, but she's, if you're watching, Mom, love you. But I think I'll be okay with the bears. And I don't think she doesn't watch these, but anyway, it's kind of funny, kind of not, one of those things when people get fearful about things, maybe that we don't have to be too afraid of. So anyway, I'll be gone the next, you won't notice, I'm always generally gone Mondays, but I'll also be gone Tuesday next week. Let's see, got a mosquito here. What do we got? Tonight we have the parents of their second graders are coming back to church. I give them talks on sin and reconciliation, forgiveness. Last week went okay. I told some stories about sin and things like that. I wish it flowed a little better, so I'm hoping for a big finale tonight. So we have 2 nights on sin and reconciliation with the parents, and then we have 2 nights on Eucharist later in the year, so that'll be good. I appreciate them coming. A sign of commitment that they want to raise their children in the church and do what they can, the best they can, So, hey, some good news. Our children's Liturgy of the Word, we were kind of asking for volunteers to help run that, and we have some helpers, but it sounds like Sherry Martin's going to take a big lead role in that, so that'll be great. She's just kindness overflowing, and she has teaching skills and all that as well. I think she taught kindergarten at Immaculate Conception as of a couple of years ago or something. So anyway, just a lovely person, and she's going to start coordinating that. So pretty soon we'll be able to call out we had a discussion at staff today about, what the age range should be for that. It's always optional. If you're in kindergarten and you want to stay in church with your parents, that's fine, or your parents want you to stay. But it's one of those things that after the opening prayer, if you'd like to go to this experience about learning about the gospel message, maybe a little bit more on a child's level, you can leave church, and it might be a little more relaxed for your parents to soak in the word and the readings and the homily, and they come back. So it's completely up to people. Emma, our great intern this year, our music intern, our violin player, wants to do something with a youth choir, and she was thinking of using that time to also teach them a few songs, which could be good, and Sherry sounds good with that. But the conundrum we were talking about at staff was, though, she wants like maybe kindergarten through 6th grade. But then I just feel like if you're pulling 5th and 6th grade out of church, they're probably old enough to maybe benefit from the readings and the homily and all that. So it's a little bit of so I think where we left is we're going to try to give people the option, if they want to be in that youth choir and go to Children's Liturgy of the Word, if they're like K through 4, and if they want to be in that choir, have that choir experience, maybe arrange something like before the 10 o'clock Mass, and they could gather, and Emma could be with them. So it's a little tentative right now. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, but these are the things we kind of try to think through how to do it best. It starts out with these great ideas, and then we think, oh yeah, but see the downside of it. And so how do we? Yeah. So we have outdoor Mass this Saturday, so that's good. I know there's still folks, COVID's still going around, and I know some of our membership still is pretty cautious about that. So we'll have an outdoor Mass on this Saturday at 6, I think. Yeah. And then we're going to try it, I think, in 2 weeks at 6 again. And that'll be more of a twilight mass because it'll start getting dark. We'll have a candlelight mass. But that should be good. Also in the worship scene, another good thing that the COVID restrictions are loosening up. Our choirs are kind of reconstituting. We had that full-bore adult choir last week. Becky Santine directing that, and that was great to hear all of them up in the loft. That's a big group. We'll probably never get them down by the altar. There's other intermediate-sized groups, though. We have our ACE choir, Adult Contemporary Ensemble, and we like to get them down, but that'd be like 12 people. And so I think with COVID, where the presider chair is now is kind of ideal. So you're across the way from the ambo where the readings are proclaimed. But that's where the choir needs to be too. So just this afternoon, I moved the chair back, kind of behind the ambo, kind of out. We'll see. Our church is, it's lovely in many ways, beautiful marble, majestic, high ceiling. It was kind of made for liturgies before 1965, pre-Vatican II. And so, where the choir was always in the loft, and the priest everybody was facing the same direction, architecture since that time has been more like churches maybe in the round a little bit, or the altar's closer to the people, and so we're just kind of long in there, so we're kind of constrained where we can put singers and instruments and things like that toward the front. And I know some people would probably prefer they just stay up choir members and parishioners. I do think, and our worship committee tends to think this too. I think there's more energy, positive energy, good energy when you're led by, and you can see the musicians and they're facing you. Again, there's an upside to it or the other. I've heard both arguments, but I think by and large I like to see the folks come up front, and lead us. This might be a good skipping step. Let's see if I can get the right angle. No, just 3. It wasn't that many. So, hey, Jim Forster, I saw him. Speaking of choir members, he's one of our great choir members. But also, he and Steve Cassing are always out there. They were out there today just taking care of the lawn and our lawn guys. And he wants to have his big edging project. So we're going to try to get, if anybody can help, anybody to volunteer to help. I guess you create a lot of mess. Edging. I do it every couple of years, where the sidewalk is, so you can see the whole sidewalk, and the lawn grows over the sidewalk. So he's going to rent a machine to do the edging. We have this massive 4-block area that's really 1 block, but could use some volunteers to help haul that stuff and work with all that. So that'll be on the Feast of St. Teresa of Avila, October 15th. Will it be a Saturday? I think so. And Saturday's the 1st, the 8th, and the 15th. That'll be a Saturday. And he said they'd start around 10 o'clock. So if you think you might be able to help with that, call the office. We'll let Jim know. He'll be relieved. He'll be happy to have some assistance there. What else we got? So we have this leadership retreat coming up. I don't know if leadership retreat's the right way. I'm going to try to contact people. I know I'll forget some folks. Our pastoral council is all excited about it as parish leaders. We're having a Jesuit priest come in. And it's not like a parish mission, because it's more like a day of retreat for people that are kind of in leadership roles in the parish, which doesn't necessarily mean you're a chair of a committee or something, but that you're involved and people see you as a leader. And I don't mean to be divisive with all this stuff, like you're a leader, you're not. That's not the idea. But I'm going to contact a few people outside of the pastoral council and see, are you interested in being part of this retreat? And if I don't, and you're interested in being part of this retreat, please let me know. Well, you won't say no. I won't say, well, you're not really a leader. You're very welcome to be part of this retreat. So it'd be from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. on a Saturday, October 22nd. And there's a lot of time for individual prayer. So it'll be facilitated by the Jesuit priest for individual prayer, for some faith sharing. So it'll be kind of an active retreat. It's not just like you sit there and get talked to and then reflect, but a lot of people hate that, So I just wanted to let you know what you'd be getting into. So a lot of time for prayer and reflection, and also for discussion. That'll be, he's got it all figured out how it'll go. So he does this in different parishes. Father Schultz actually referred him to us. So that'll be on October 22nd, Saturday. If you'd like to be part of something like that, let me know. I can tell you more. I know it's a little vague, isn't it? But it's a big time commitment. It's 6 hours, but it might be a great thing for the parish. He's going to meet with me Thursday afternoon, and the parish staff on Friday, and then the parish leadership, lay people on Saturday. Finance council met yesterday, and it was good. We met outside, and it was muggy, and the papers got all moist, and then it got dark, but we managed to fight through it. There's a couple kind of expensive projects coming up. We want to be able to repair the terrazzo flooring in church, and also it's been on the docket to have someone look at, because water gets in the school classrooms when there's a hard rain, and we've been trying to get someone to look at it for years actually, and we got a good referral, reputable company. They looked at it and they got a big plan. They took all these pictures of what's falling apart. A lot of masonry, it's just falling apart. A lot of gaps, a lot of mortar missing, a lot of places where water should not go, where there needs to be protection. And the good news is they can make the building like new again. The bad news is it's $281,000. So, obviously we just had a capital campaign, right? And that went really well. And the Finance Council said, looking at our reserves and our building fund, and we can make that happen, and we really need to take care of our buildings. But I was thinking, and it seemed like a good idea, and I sort of, it's always awkward how to say things right. I don't want to alienate anybody, but I just know that perhaps because we're not having an annual appeal this year, and even more, I just thought, we had this successful capital campaign just a few months ago, and if you gave to that, I think, just thanks. But I know a lot of people are very generous with the parish, but didn't want to give to that, or the parish projects involved with that, and everybody's got their own reasons, and I respect that. But I thought maybe that group, there might be some among them who would like to kind of save the school building or be able to fix the church flooring, and especially since there's no annual appeal this year, maybe it's a pattern of giving that won't happen this year because of the capital campaign. Annual appeal will return next year. Anyway, I'm a little bit labored in saying all this, but I just thought, perhaps, again, if you gave to that capital campaign, I'm not knocking on your door again, say give again, because you just made really generous pledges. But, if you're in that category of, you weren't really comfortable with that campaign for whatever reason, but you see this, saving the school building is a good cause, and we'd welcome your donation, right? So, anyway, okay, thought I should mention that. What do I see? We got everything, bike ride. I think we have everything. So I just want to mention, St. Matthew, Feast of St. Matthew today. Tax collector. So the gospel reading is the call of Matthew, the call of Levi. They think Levi was, like St. Paul was Saul before he was Paul. It's like Matthew was Levi before he was Matthew. I don't know how much of that is exactly history, or if that's just to kind of make the scriptures make a little sense for us. It's like the two apostles, Nathaniel and Bartholomew, are supposed to be the same one, because you got to get 12, and the lists are a little bit different. I don't get too hung up on that stuff, but people want to have it make sense, right? So I think the main thing I'd say there's some things that are just in Matthew, and the main thing is the Christmas story with the three magi, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That's only in the Matthew's account. When I say Matthew's account, I'm ever since 3 years ago when I took that class, I try not to say Matthew's gospel, because we had this one guy. Whenever you would refer to gospels, like there's 4 gospels. I think I mentioned this at Easter once. He would say, "Oh, I'm getting allergic." Our teacher, he goes, "I heard someone say gospels. What's that?" He goes, "There's one gospel. That's the good news. That God became a human being. He lived with us. He spread the good news. He died and he rose from the dead. And through belief in him, we will have eternal life. That's the gospel. That's the good news. That's the gospel. These other things, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are gospel accounts." So Anyway, I try to be careful. It made sense to me. I thought it was a lovely little talk we got. So Matthew's gospel account, Sermon on the Mount is in it. And I just, it's all Jesus' teachings. And I thought I'd just kind of run through it quick. It's Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7. It might be a beautiful thing to do on this week when we celebrate the Feast of St. Matthew, just to kind of read it and take it to heart. Martin Luther King was profoundly affected by Sermon on the Mount. Gandhi was profoundly affected by the Sermon on the Mount, maybe King through Gandhi, particularly with his love of enemies, nonviolence, forgiveness, mercy. Just through the whole thing, it's just being called to just a different way of life, a countercultural way of life, a non-selfish way of life, a way of life that is has absorbed the gospel, the good news, and so we want to live differently. We've received the mercy of God, and we want to be a merciful presence in the world and live out that identity as a child of God, knowing that everybody, not just my friends, not just my fellow countrymen, but everybody is a child of God. Anyway, that's the heart of it, I think. But so I'll just kind of whiz through this. I won't read the whole thing. Sometimes when I go to the Holy Land, I read the whole thing on the mount. Oh, look what I brought. It's my little prop for today. See these? These are stones from the Mount of the Beatitudes. I probably shouldn't have taken them. Is that wrong? That's probably wrong. But I'm really into the Sermon on the Mount. I think it's great. And not that I live it out so perfectly, but I just feel it's true, it's right, it's all what we should all be trying to follow. Anyway, so this is right from the shore of the Sea of Galilee, just up the shore on the Mount of the Beatitudes. So, put these back in my bag. I got all these other rocks here. I could, I forget about them. I wouldn't notice, or I could grab it and skip it into the water, and then I'd be missing it. That'd be okay. Anyway, Sermon on the Mount. Jesus go up on the Mount to teach the disciples. It's if you have a red letter Bible where the words of Jesus are in red letters, it's all red. Chapters 5, 6, and 7. Maybe just the verse of introduction and verse of conclusion are in black. But so it's the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, etc. I'll just rush through this, just so you know. He said, "You are the salt of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Let your light shine." Jesus saying he's not going to come to abolish the law, but to fulfill the law. A higher righteousness, so it's not enough just not to kill somebody. You shouldn't be angry with your brother or sister. It's not enough just not to commit adultery. You shouldn't have lust in your heart for your brother or sister. So that higher righteousness that we're called to. And then, turn the other cheek. Love your enemies. If you just love people that love you, so what? Everybody loves people that love them. You can prove that you're a child of your Heavenly Father by loving even your enemies. Very strong message, very beautiful message. Hard to live out, but let's try. Teaching about almsgiving. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand's doing. Don't do it as a big show, but your Father who sees in secret will repay you. It's our Ash Wednesday gospel. He teaches us the Lord's Prayer in the Sermon on the Mount. Our Father. Again, like fasting. When you fast, don't make a big show of it. Just fast it. This sense of treasuring your relationship with God and knowing that God dwells in you, knowing that God sees everything and loves you and will reward you. You don't have to worry about the rewards of this world. Again, really hard. God and money, that we heard this last week, but from Luke's gospel. Some of this is in Luke's gospel, but not organized in one sermon like it is in Matthew's. Can't serve God and money. Dependence on God. Don't worry. One of the most challenging things. Don't worry about what you are to eat or drink. Look at the lilies of the field. Look at this water going by and the fish in the water. God takes care of them. He'll take care of you. Don't worry so much about things. When you're worried, don't you hate to hear that? Don't worry. But it's great to have a moment of prayer where you just kind of breathe and recognize that God has brought you this far in life, and God will not drop you. And when the time does come for you to surrender your life into the Lord's hands, so be a soft landing, someone who loves you. So try not to worry. I worry too. So judging others, don't judge others, and you won't be judged. Don't pick the little speck out of your neighbor's eye when you got a big beam in your own eye. We've heard that before, right? Ask and you'll receive, seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be open to you. Some of these we heard recently on Sundays in Luke's version. Golden rule is in Matthew's Sermon on the Mount. Do to others whatever you do to them. Do to others whatever you would have them do to you. The narrow gate, enter through the narrow gate if you'd have eternal life. Beware of false prophets. Beware of people that say, Lord, Lord, but don't really do the work of the Lord. They don't do good things. Talk is cheap. So and then he closes it by saying, you want to have a secure life in me, listen to these words and then act on them. If you do that, you'll be like someone who built a house on rock, and the storms came and the wind blew like last night here in Eau Claire, and the house remained solid because it's built on rock. They heard the word of God and they acted on it. They tried to love their enemies. They tried to be forgiving. They took care of the poor. They knew their life wasn't just about themselves. They worshiped God. All those things. They repented when they got too angry, or the other sins. I said, but if you just hear the word of God and you don't act on them, you're like a fool who builds your house on sand, and when the storm comes, whoosh, falls right over. So that's Sermon on the Mount. Love it. Why don't we just kind of watch the river flow here? And wish you all well, and God bless as we head into a new season of fall. Maybe I'll try to skip a stone here if I can find it. Went down to the river to pray, studying about those good old ways, and who should wear the starry crown. Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down and come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down to the river to pray. So I went down to the river to pray, studying about those good old ways, and who should wear the starry crown. Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down and come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. So I went down to the river to pray, studying about those good old ways, and who should wear the starry crown. Good Lord, show me the way.